The future of the movie industry and movie theaters might be doomed because Netflix just bought Warner Brothers and it is causing a lot of panic about if upcoming Warner Brothers movies, like the future of the DCU, Dune Part 3, and so many other films are going to be Netflix originals now. But there is a lot more that goes into this, so let me break down all the mostly worst parts of Netflix buying Warner Brothers. We need to start off with what Warner Brothers actually owns that is now going to be owned by Netflix, because I feel like everybody knows that they own DC Studios and things like Harry Potter and stuff, but it goes so much deeper than that. Starting off with just the superhero side of things, yes, they own DC Studios, like now the Batman Part 2, James Gunn's new DCU, that's all under Netflix now, but they also own DC Comics and DC Games now. And what might be even crazier than the heavy hitters like a Harry Potter, DC, Lord of the Rings is all the classic franchises and characters they have access to now, like Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, all of Cartoon Network are now owned by Netflix. Things like Ben 10, that means. And I'm not going to read this entire list because there's too much to list, but they own so many things now, like the Matrix franchise, Mad Max, Adult Swim, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, The Goonies. They now own Game of Thrones and a Minecraft movie's film rights. That movie just made $1 billion earlier this year. The original rights for The Wizard of Oz, the Dune franchise, the Monsterverse series, like I said, Warner Brothers Games, which includes Hogwarts Legacy. And they got all this for $82 billion because Warner Brothers was in an insane amount of debt. In comparison, Disney ended up buying Fox for $71 billion, which obviously gave them a ton of content too, but I feel like Netflix definitely got the better deal here. And I'm going to talk about the whole movie theater portion of this in a second, but first I want to say no matter what happens with films staying in theaters or not, this is going to be worse for us, the end user and consumers. When you eliminate competition like this, there is now no longer any incentive for them to lower prices or offer better products for us because they own pretty much over half of the entire streaming industry and some of the most famous characters and properties of all time. They're also going to be able to strong arm other movie companies and theater companies because, again, they own so much of the industry now. Now, obviously, one of the biggest questions here is, will all of these new movies and huge properties be releasing in theaters, or are they going to go straight to Netflix now? And the CEO of Netflix has come out and said that Warner Brothers movies will remain in theaters, but eventually windows will evolve to be much more consumer friendly, meaning how long movies are in theaters, which is the concerning part here. Because like right now, Netflix pretty much puts all their original movies straight to streaming, unless it's something they think is going to be an awards contender, like Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out movie. They put that in theaters for a couple weeks before it comes out on streaming. Now, I'm going to read the entire quote that surrounded that one where Ted Sarandos is talking about new Warner Brothers movies coming out in theaters, because it does give me some hope, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to trust a massive CEO of a company like this, especially when the CEO is someone that in particular has come out multiple times in the last couple of years talking about how, oh no, nobody wants to watch movies in theaters anymore. Everybody just wants to watch movies at home. And now he's suddenly kind of switching his tone just to kind of appease people. I feel like I don't really trust what he's about to say, but let me read it. He said, I'd say right now you should count on everything that is planned on going to the theater through Warner Bros. Will continue to go through the theaters through Warner Brothers, and Netflix movies will take the same strides they have been having, which is going directly to streaming most of the time outside of a few short theatrical runs. But again, he kind of ends it by saying our primary goal is to bring first run movies to our members because that's what they're looking for. So it definitely seems like these Warner Brothers movies might be in theaters even shorter, maybe like 30 days at least for the next couple of years. And like we do know that DC Studios in particular does have contracts that extend through 2029 that guarantee the theatrical release of their films. This is coming from the IMAX CEO himself. And like he said, yes, everything that is currently planned to go through theaters from Warner Brothers, like Dune Part 3, Supergirl, the Batman Part 2, every other film until like 2027 will likely still be getting a regular full theatrical release. And a huge reason why this is definitely true for at least the next 2 years and hopefully some years after that is because Netflix is not going to actually fully own Warner Brothers until Q3 of 2026. That's when this deal can fully go through with everything that is pre-existing with Warner Brothers, all these different contracts and stuff behind the scenes. And that's the earliest that Netflix could end up owning Warner Brothers, because this deal is going to face a lot of legal troubles in the next year and a half and probably longer than that, because there is going to be both cases in the United States and just globally that are fighting against this, saying that it is a monopoly that Netflix is forming. It's very anti-consumer. As you can see, United States Senator Elizabeth Warren has already come out and said that this is going to create an anti-monopoly nightmare. And we also know that like Paramount was trying to buy Warner Brothers and they're very upset about losing the bid to Netflix, and they're owned by the Ellison family, who is very close to Donald Trump. They're going to try to abuse that to kind of get this shut down, which again would not be good. You do not want Paramount owning Warner Brothers either. The best case scenario is that they wouldn't be sold to anyone really, or that they go to NBC Universal, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to end up in Netflix's hands or Paramount, it seems like. Obviously, Netflix going going into this deal knew they were going to have to deal with all these different antitrust laws and prove that this is not a monopoly. And clearly they are prepared to at least battle for this, and they think they have a very good chance at winning this and getting the full acquisition. Honestly, the best thing we can hope for is that this just keeps getting kicked down and down the road farther and farther, and we don't see this fully take place for another like 5 years or something. Because like I said, at the very minimum, if nothing happens and this gets no pushback, it would take a year and a half to go through. So it's going to take some time regardless. But I want to talk about one of what might be the most important point of this entire thing that I feel like nobody has really pointed out besides like this Hollywood Reporter article, is that Netflix is probably making this move more so for the future of AI. And what I mean by that is that in the future, if AI does not get any regulations against it, studios and people are going to be using it to make movies and TV shows. Disney has already talked about letting users generate their own AI content with their properties. There's a likelihood that in the future, the only thing that matters for these studios and different companies is owning the rights to characters and letting other people generate with them. And this deal obviously gives Netflix an insane amount of characters, like I said and listed earlier. It gives them all of Cartoon Network, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, all of the DC characters, Dune, Lord of the Rings. So pretty much everything is going to continue to suck now and for the next couple of years, because Netflix is straight up absorbing one of the biggest competitors. They own obviously all of it, HBO Max now. I think HBO Max, like he said, is going to remain separate at least for the next couple of years, but I'm sure we're going to start slowly seeing some HBO content slide onto Netflix. There's probably going to be a bundle offer in the future, and I'm sure by like 5 to 10 years from now, HBO is going to fully just merge into Netflix, kind of similar to what we saw with Disney Plus and Hulu. Like Disney Plus originally kept Hulu its own separate thing, even though they owned it, and now Hulu is straight up merging with Disney Plus and going away on its own. But let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Do you think Netflix's CEO is going to stick to his word and keep Warner Brothers separate and mostly releasing their movies in theaters, or is he going to pull a fast one on us in like 2 years and be like, oh yeah, movies are in theaters for like 2 weeks now, you get to watch the Batman Part 2. And if you want some positive DC and Batman Part 2 related news, we got a ton of crazy new castings and info about the movie. If you want to hear all about that, click the video above my head right now, and thank you so much for watching.